Project-based voucher program briefing for the Reno Housing Authority. Welcome and congratulations on being referred for project-based assistance. This briefing is an important first step in securing your housing assistance. This briefing will include a voucher program overview, family, owner, and RHA responsibilities, and information on reasonable accommodations. There are a lot of acronyms used in housing assistance. Here are some we think you should know. HAP, or Housing Assistance Payment, the portion of the rent RHA is responsible for paying to the landlord. HCV, or Housing Choice Voucher, the most common of the many voucher programs offered, formerly known as Section 8. HQS, or Housing Quality Standards. These are HUD standards for the condition of assisted housing. HUD, or the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the federal department over our voucher programs. INSPIRE, or National Standards for the Physical Inspection of Real Estate, the inspection protocols used by RHA to conduct the HQS inspections. PBV, or Project-Based Voucher, a type of voucher where the housing assistance is tied to the unit. PHA, or Public Housing Authority, this is the generic term for housing authorities. And RHA, Reno Housing Authority. The Reno Housing Authority's Rental Assistance Department oversees all our voucher programs. The Rental Assistance Department has many employees. Here are their roles. Housing Specialist. This is your caseworker. They respond to calls and emails, rotate walk-in days, process changes to your income and regular recertifications, and maintain your file. Leasing Agent. Issues transfer vouchers, processes RFDAs, checks for reasonableness and affordability of prospective units, and prepares HAP contracts. General Office Clerk serves as our receptionist, receives and logs incoming mail, and sends out recertification and verification paperwork. Inspections Clerk schedules move-in, regular or biennial, and special inspections, and provides the results. Notifies landlords when you are approved to sign a lease. Inspector visits the unit to ensure HUD standards have been met following the INSPIRE inspection protocol. Landlord Liaison, the primary point of contact for landlords regarding questions and concerns. Rental Assistance Administrator, oversees Rental Assistance Department staff, conducts file reviews for terminations and when requested by you, and ensures the department runs smoothly by managing day-to-day operations. And Director of Rental Assistance, oversees the entire department, developing new programs and ensuring policies follow federal regulations. If you have questions, we're here to help you. You can email us. Send any questions to section8@renoha.org for response within 1 to 2 business days. Give us a call at 775-329-3630, option 5. You'll leave a message with your name, Social Security number, and a detailed question. We'll return your call within 1 to 2 business days. Please note that due to call volume, we are unable to answer calls live. Come see us as a walk-in. Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., you can walk into our office with no appointment needed. You will see the on-duty housing specialist. Schedule an appointment with us. If you are unable to visit during our walk-in day due to scheduling conflicts, you can call to request an appointment with your housing specialist on a day and time that works for you, within our operating hours. The Reno Housing Authority is an MTW, or Moving to Work Agency. In 2013, HUD gave RHA the MTW designation due to our high-performing status. Being an MTW agency means we have the unique opportunity to slightly change some of the rules or requirements of the HCV program compared to other housing authorities, with HUD permission, of course. Some of these slight changes may impact the timeline of your recertification, your medical deductions, utility allowances, and conducting inspections every other year. Now let's get into an overview of the HCV program. The Housing Choice Voucher Program involves 3 main parties: you, the Housing Authority, and your landlord. Each pair is governed by their own contract. Between you and the housing authority, that's your voucher. Between you and your landlord, that's the lease. And between the housing authority and your landlord, that's the HAP contract. No contract involves all three parties. This means that the housing authority can't evict you for violations of your lease, and you can't terminate our HAP contract with the landlord. However, your voucher obligations include things like not violating your lease. So if you violate your lease, which may result in the landlord evicting you, it may also result in you losing your housing assistance due to not abiding by your voucher obligations. So how does the project-based voucher program work? RHA entered into a long-term contract with the landlord to provide vouchers for specific units. RHA will inspect the unit to ensure it meets HUD standards. RHA's admissions department refers clients for available PBV units. The landlord screens you for suitability as a tenant based on their tenant selection plan. RHA will determine the HAP and your portion of the rent. These amounts may change during your tenancy depending on reported changes to your household. You enter a lease with the landlord and sign the PBV tenancy addendum. If you are responsible for utilities, you need to set up service and pay for those utilities, either directly with the utility company or through a third-party billing service like RUBS. RHA will pay the HAP, and you will pay your portion directly to the landlord. At the end of your lease, you and your landlord can choose to renew for another year, go month to month, or you can look for a new unit. Please note that in the PBV program, you must complete a one-year lease in the PBV unit before being eligible for a tenant-based voucher to allow you to move with continued assistance. Landlords are eligible to request changes to the contract rent for a PBV unit once a year at the anniversary of the PBV HAP contract. Because the PBV HAP contract is for all of the PBV units at the property and is not specific to only your unit and your lease, this may mean the contract rent for your unit will change during the term of your lease. RHA will process the change to the contract rent and send you and the landlord notice of the new rent portions. However, in the PBV program, you will never pay more than 30% of your income towards rent and utilities, so the entire increase should be absorbed by RHA. Overhoused means a family is living in too large of a unit based on RHA subsidy standards, and underhoused means a family is living in too small of a unit. Changes in household composition, such as members moving in, moving out, or turning 18, may change the unit size you are eligible for. If your household becomes over or underhoused as a result of the household composition change, even if you are in an active lease, you will be given notice to move. However, RHA will provide you with comparable rental assistance, either an appropriately sized PBV unit, public housing unit, or housing choice voucher, so that you can continue to receive assistance with your rent. One of the benefits of the PBV program is that you are entitled to request to change from a project-based voucher to a tenant-based voucher after your initial lease. Once you have fulfilled your initial 12-month lease, you may request to be issued an HCV if one is available. If no HCVs are available, you would be placed on a list to be issued the next available voucher. All requests for HCVs must be made in writing prior to any request to move has been made. You must also be in good standing with RHA in order to be eligible for tenant-based assistance. Let's go over your voucher obligations. These are your responsibilities within the HCV program. Failure to abide by these rules can result in the termination of your housing assistance. Do supply required information. This means reporting any changes to your household within 30 days of the date the changes happened. This also means responding promptly when RHA asks you for additional information. Do allow RHA to inspect your unit with reasonable notice and at reasonable times. Do give RHA at least 30 days notice before moving out or terminating your lease. It takes time to reactivate your voucher and issue all the necessary paperwork, and we want to make sure we do this well in advance of your move-out date. Do give RHA a copy of any eviction notice received. We are not a party to your lease, so we cannot directly stop the eviction process. However, we can communicate with the landlord to ensure all payments have been received, make sure they understand the requirements of the HAP contract, and refer you for legal service assistance if necessary. Do use the unit as your only residence. RHA is paying assistance for your entire household to live at this unit, so you cannot live anywhere else without transferring your assistance. Do receive approval before adding new household members and notify RHA promptly if anyone moves out. RHA must give you written approval before anyone moves into your unit, and if someone moves out, RHA will need to reevaluate your household income and voucher size. Do receive approval to be away from your unit for more than 30 days. The RHA is paying assistance on your unit based on the household members living there, and if someone is going to be out of the unit for more than 30 days, it's important we know about it. Do not damage the unit or premises or allow others to damage it. Do not violate the terms of your lease. Do not allow unapproved people to live in the unit or receive mail at your address. HUD considers someone receiving mail at an address as proof they live there, so allowing someone to use your address for mail could look like you have unauthorized occupants living with you. Do not sublease your unit. Remember, RHA must approve all persons living in your unit before they move in. Do not lease a unit you or your family have any ownership of. Do not commit fraud, bribery, or other corrupt criminal activities. Do not engage in violent criminal activity or use illicit substances. And do not receive other housing subsidies while on the HCV program. Remember, violating any of these voucher obligations may result in the termination of your housing assistance, so it's important you understand them. Your responsibilities under the voucher program include abiding by those voucher family obligations as well as your lease, paying rent according to your lease and RHA notices, taking care of your unit and reporting maintenance issues timely, and living in the PBV unit for 1 year before requesting to change to a tenant-based voucher. The landlord or owner responsibilities under the voucher program include screening families and determining their suitability as renters. Landlords are not required to accept voucher assistance. Landlords are also allowed to follow their regular tenant selection criteria and screening practices that they use on all other tenants. Complying with fair housing laws and the HAP contract with RHA. Collecting your portion of the rent, security deposit, and any charges for damages to the unit. Not collecting side payments from you or charging more than approved by RHA, with the exception of services or fees that are not covered by RHA, such as pet rent, cable, internet, etc. Making repairs to the unit, and enforcing the lease. RHA's responsibilities include determining your eligibility for the voucher program, explaining the voucher program and your responsibilities, inspecting your selected unit and ensuring the requested rent is reasonable and affordable, calculating the housing assistance payment and your portion of the rent, paying housing assistance to the landlord, and ensuring the family and the landlord are following voucher program rules. If you or your household contains a person with disabilities, you may be entitled to a reasonable accommodation. A reasonable accommodation is a change, exception, or adjustment that may be necessary for a person with disabilities. This accommodation is provided to ensure that everyone has equal opportunity to use and enjoy their unit, common and public spaces included, as well as to fulfill the program requirements. Reasonable accommodations for program-related policies, such as larger voucher due to medical equipment or needing separate sleeping areas, are available through RHA. Reasonable accommodations for unit-related items, such as grab bars and parking spaces, are available through your landlord. Reasonable accommodations are only available to persons with a disability. There must be a nexus or connection between the requested accommodation and the disability. RHA will verify the need for the requested accommodation with a qualified professional of your choosing who must have knowledge of you and your disability. If you feel you need a reasonable accommodation, please contact your housing specialist to discuss and complete the necessary forms. Let's go over some frequently asked questions. When can I sign the lease? Your move-in date has already been arranged with the landlord. Please see the PBV tenancy addendum at the end of the briefing for your specific move-in date. On that day, you will go to the landlord's office to sign the lease and move in. What if I'm responsible for utilities? All utilities that are listed as your responsibility in the lease and HAP contract are your responsibility to pay. Can my utilities be in someone else's name? No. Utilities must be in your name directly or someone in the household. Review your lease carefully. Does RHA help with security deposits or credit checks? No. The deposit and any application fees are your responsibility. RHA can only assist with rent, not including any optional amenities offered by a complex, such as garage, storage units, etc. What happens if my income goes down after move-in? Your portion of the rent is based on your household's income. If your income goes down, please report changes to your housing specialist with an update form. That's pretty much it. After completion of this video, you'll be asked to sign the following documents. The PBV tenancy addendum. This form, signed by you and the landlord, acts as an addendum to the lease to make it specific to the PBV program. It lists the approved household members, the unit's address, the initial lease term, the initial contract rent, as well as the initial HAP and tenant rent portions, the utility responsibilities, and all of the household and owner responsibilities covered in this briefing. The Statement of Family Responsibility form. This form covers those voucher obligations and rules specific to the PBV program. The Emergency Contact form. This not only gives us your most up-to-date contact information, but also allows you to provide us with the name and contact information for someone outside your household you would like us to communicate with, including the reasons we are allowed to speak with them. Your Family Review. This shows the information RHA has on file regarding household members and income. You will be asked to review what is on file and sign to certify it is all correct. If you see any inaccurate information, it is important to notify the person conducting the briefing. The Nixle opt-in form. RHA uses Nixle to communicate with clients regarding things like resident services programs and office closures. Completing this form will opt you in or out of receiving messages via Nixle. Finally, please make sure to check out the following additional documents, including your briefing handbook and Section 3 employment brochure. The briefing handbook contains important information regarding your assistance and what we have covered today. It's yours to keep. The Section 3 employment brochure explains what Section 3 employment is. If you're interested in learning a construction trade or have experience in a trade, you can email section3@renoha.org to be notified of employment opportunities. Before you go, here's a few last things I want to make sure to point out. Unless it is part of an approved reasonable accommodation, you cannot rent from a family member. Family members are considered the parent, child, grandparent, grandchild, sister, or brother of any member of the household. Information on the lease-up process, maintaining your assistance, and other important topics can be found online in our video resource library at www.renoha.org. Information on RHA's resident services programs can be found at www.renoha.org/for-residents. Check to see if any of RHA's programs could be a fit for you. Thank you for taking the time to complete your voucher briefing, and know that we are here to help you throughout this process. Please reach out to us at the contact information below if you have any questions or concerns. We are so excited to begin assisting you.